2.1 Illnesses and injuries. 1. Minor illnesses and conditions. B. 9.
A cough.
6.
A headache.
1.
A rash.
4.
A temperature.
2.
Sunburn.
8.
She's being sick. She's vomiting.
10.
She's sneezing.
3.
Her ankle's swollen.
7.
Her back hurts. Her back aches.
5.
Her finger's bleeding.
2.2 D. 1. B.
He has a sore throat. It hurts when he talks or swallows food.
2. D.
He has diarrhea. He's been to the toilet 5 times this morning.
3. E.
He feels sick. He feels that he's going to vomit.
4. C.
He's fainted. It's so hot in the room that he's lost consciousness.
5. H.
He has a blister on his foot. He's been walking in uncomfortable shoes.
6. F.
He has a cold. He's sneezing a lot and he has a cough.
7. A.
He has flu. He has a temperature and he aches all over.
8. G.
He feels dizzy. He feels that everything is spinning round.
9. I.
He's cut himself. He's bleeding.
2.3 2. Injuries and more serious conditions. 1. C.
He's unconscious. He's breathing, but his eyes are closed and he can't hear or feel anything.
2. G.
He's had an allergic reaction. He was stung by a wasp and now he has a rash and has difficulty breathing.
3. B.
He's sprained his ankle. He fell badly and now it's swollen.
4. D.
He has high blood pressure. It's 180 over 140.
5. E.
He has food poisoning. He ate some prawns that were off.
6. F.
He's choking. He was eating a steak and a piece got stuck in his throat.
7. A.
He's burnt himself. He spilt some boiling water on his hand.
2.4 3. Phrasal verbs connected with illness. 1.
Pass out means faint.
2.
Lie down means put your body in a horizontal position.
3.
Throw up means vomit. Be sick.
4.
Get over means get better, recover from something.
5.
Come round means become conscious again.
2.5
Shower. sh. Infection, pressure, rash, unconscious.
Jazz, j. Allergic, bandage, emergency, injury.
Chess, ch. Choking, temperature.
Key, k. Ache, sick, stomach.
2.6.
Cholesterol,
Indigestion,
injection,
operation,
scratch,
surgeon.
syringe,
2.7. Jane. 1.
And he didn't have a pulse, so I thought he was probably having a heart attack.
2.
He took her to one side to calm her down, because obviously she was in shock.
3.
I kept going until the ambulance turned up.
Daniel. 4.
An old lady stepped off the pavement in front of me and she tripped and fell into the road.
5.
She'd fallen heavily, but she was still conscious.
6.
It was obviously an effort for her to sit up. It was very painful.
Alison. 7.
Then all of a sudden, he stopped walking and fell backwards.
8.
Some teenagers in the queue called an ambulance.
9.
Then they put him on a stretcher and took him away.
(2.8) Jane.
So, my husband and I were out shopping in our local town, and I saw a man lying on the ground. He was just a stranger, not someone I knew, and his wife was there, standing by him. And I used to be a nurse in A&E, so I went straight up to him to see if I could help. He was a bit blue. I felt his pulse, and he didn't have a pulse, so I thought he was probably having a heart attack. I felt quite calm because I knew what to do. I started doing cardiac massage, putting your hand on the chest and pressing down fast and at regular intervals. And my husband talked to the man's wife. He took her to one side to calm her down because obviously she was in shock. I kept going until the ambulance turned up, and the man was still alive then, and they took him to hospital. I was really pleased that I could do something.
Daniel.
So I was cycling to work one morning, and just as I was coming round the corner, an old lady stepped off the pavement in front of me and she tripped and fell into the road. I just managed not to cycle into her, and I dropped my bike and I went over to see if she was okay. And it was busy in the street as the shops were just opening and lots of people were around. She'd fallen heavily, but she was still conscious, and she told us she was sure she'd broken her arm. Somebody stopped the traffic, and I helped move her to the pavement. Somebody else went and got a chair from one of the shops, and someone else called an ambulance, and we stayed with her until it came. It was obviously an effort for her to sit up. It was very painful, so I let her lean against me. I remember I was a bit worried because I'd left my rucksack on the bike with all my things in it, and I was worried someone was going to steal it, but I couldn't move because I was holding the woman up. Later, I went to visit her in hospital, and she'd actually broken her shoulder in 2 places and had to have an operation. I think, though, if I'd just been walking past, I wouldn't necessarily have gone to help. But because it had happened right in front of me, I felt I had to do something, and now I'm glad I was able to do something. I felt quite good about it afterwards.
Alison.
So I was waiting for the bus at the end of my road to go into work. A very big man, very tall man, walked past the bus stop, and I noticed him particularly because he was wearing very dirty clothes and he was walking in rather a strange way. And, to be honest, I thought he was probably drunk. Then all of a sudden, he stopped walking and fell backwards and hit the back of his head on the pavement. He fell so hard on the back of his head that it made a really loud noise. And then he just lay still. Some teenagers in the queue called an ambulance, and I stood by the man. I felt completely helpless. He was breathing, but I didn't really know what to do. The ambulance arrived quite quickly, and the paramedic took the man's hand and talked to him, and then they put him on a stretcher and took him away. Afterwards, I thought I should have done more. I should have perhaps turned him on his side or put a coat under his head. At least I should have held his hand to show someone was there. I felt a bit ashamed because I think the reason why I didn't help him more was because he was a bit dirty, a bit scruffy, and I was scared of him.
2.9.
Oh, hello again, Mr. Payne. What's the problem this time?
Doctor, I haven't been feeling well for a few days. I've been coughing a lot. And I keep getting headaches. I have a temperature today.
What have you been taking for the headaches?
Paracetamol. But I read on the internet that headaches can be the first symptom of a brain tumour.
Oh, how many tablets have you taken today?
I took 2 before breakfast.
And have you taken your temperature this morning?
Yes, I've taken it 5 or 6 times already. It's high.
Let me see. Well, your temperature seems to be perfectly normal now.
I think I need a blood test. I haven't had one for 2 months.
Well, Mr. Payne, you know, I think we should wait for a few days and see how your symptoms, develop. Take 2 more paracetamol and go to bed early tonight.
But
goodbye,
no,
Mr. Payne.
Don't you need a urine sample?
2.10.
Your next patient is Mrs. Morris. Here are her notes.
How many times has Mr. Payne been to the health centre this month?
6 times, I think.
Oh, that Mr. Payne. He's a complete pain in the neck.
2.11. 1.
I haven't been feeling well for a few days.
2.
I've been coughing a lot. And I keep getting headaches.
3.
What have you been taking for the headaches?
4.
How many tablets have you taken today?
5.
And have you taken your temperature this morning?
6.
Yes, I've taken it 5 or 6 times already.
7.
I think I need a blood test. I haven't had one for 2 months.
2.12. 1.
Have you ever broken a bone?
I've never seen him before.
2.
I've just phoned for an ambulance, but it hasn't arrived yet.
I've already told you 3 times.
3.
It's the best book I've ever read.
4.
My computer's crashed.
Look, it started snowing.
5.
I've known Miriam since I was a child.
My sister has been ill for 10 days now.
6.
How many Agatha Christie novels have you read?
They've seen each other twice this week.
2.13. 1.
How long have you been waiting to see the doctor?
He's been messaging his girlfriend all evening.
2.
I haven't been sleeping well recently.
It's been raining all day.
3.
I've been shopping all morning. I'm exhausted.
My shoes are filthy. I've been working in the garden.
2.14. 1.
I've been feeling terrible for days.
He's liked classical music since he was a teenager.
2.
She's been having piano lessons since she was a child.
They've had that car for at least 10 years.
3.
We've lived in this town since 1980.
We've been living in a rented flat for the last 2 months.
4.
I've painted the kitchen.
I've been painting the kitchen.
2.15. 1.
In most African countries, the young still look up to the old.
The poor are getting poorer and the rich are getting richer.
The government needs to create more jobs for the unemployed.
2.
The English are famous for drinking tea.
The Chinese invented paper.
The Dutch make wonderful cheeses.
2.16.
We've got a lovely old cottage just outside Bath.
She has long fair hair.
I bought a beautiful Italian leather belt.
2.17. Clothes and fashion. 1. Describing clothes. B. Fit. 2. Loose. 1.
Tight.
Style. 6. Hooded. 4.
Long-sleeved.
7. Polo neck. 3.
Sleeveless.
5. V-neck. Pattern. 12.
Checked.
10. Patterned. 8.
Plain.
11. Spotted. 9.
Striped.
2.18. D. Materials. 4.
A cotton vest.
9.
A denim waistcoat.
5.
A fur collar.
3.
A lace top.
1.
A linen suit.
7.
A lycra swimsuit.
8.
A silk scarf.
6.
A velvet bow tie.
2.
A wool cardigan.
11.
Leather sandals.
10.
Suede boots.
2.19. 2. Adjectives to describe clothes and the way people dress. 1.
She always wears casual clothes to work. She hates dressing formally.
2.
He looks really scruffy. His clothes are old and a bit dirty.
3.
Jane looked very smart in her new suit. She wanted to make a good impression.
4.
That tie's a bit old-fashioned. Is it your dad's?
5.
I like wearing classic clothes that don't go out of fashion.
2.20. 3. Verbs and verb phrases. 1. C.
I'm going to dress up tonight. I'm going to a party.
2. A.
Please hang up your coat. Don't leave it on the chair.
3. F.
These jeans don't fit me. They're too small.
4. H.
That skirt really suits you. You look great in it.
5. G.
Your bag matches your shoes. They're almost the same colour.
6. B.
I need to get changed. I've just spilt coffee on my shirt.
7. E.
Hurry up and get undressed. It's bath time.
8. I.
Get up and get dressed. Breakfast is on the table.
9. D.
That tie doesn't really go with your shirt. They don't look good together.
2.21. 1.
Fish. I. Denim. Velvet. Linen. Striped.
2.
Bike. I. Plain. Lycra. Tie. Tight.
3.
Train. A. Lace. Leather. Waistcoat. Suede.
4.
Bird. Fur. Scruffy. Shirt. Skirt.
5.
Boot. Ooh. Loose. Shoes. Suit. Wool.
2.22.
A loose linen shirt.
Brown suede shoes.
A plain cotton t-shirt.
A striped silk tie.
Red leather boots.
Dark blue denim jeans.
A hooded sweatshirt.
A long-sleeved V-neck sweater.
A long patterned skirt.
2.23.
Welcome to today's program. The topic is age and fashion, and the question is, do people nowadays dress their age, and should they? Our guests are both fashion journalists with well-known magazines. Hello, Lisa and Adrian.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Let's start with you, Lisa.
Well, the first thing I'd like to say to all the young people out there is, next time you give your granny a warm cardigan and some fur slippers for her birthday, don't be surprised if she asks for the receipt, because she'll probably want to go out and change them for something more exciting.
So you think nowadays older women dress much younger than they used to?
Oh, absolutely. Think of women like Meryl Streep, Catherine Deneuve, Helen Mirren, Jane Fonda. When Jane Fonda was in her 70s, she appeared on a US talk show wearing a leather miniskirt. She looked fabulous, but of course...
I have to say, I saw that programme and I thought Jane Fonda looked awful.
Adrian, can you let Lisa finish?
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was that it isn't just famous women who are dressing younger. Some recent research says that 9 out of 10 women say that they try to dress younger than their years.
What about younger women?
Well, yes, of course, it depends on your age. A lot of teenage girls try to dress older than they are, maybe to get into pubs and bars. But I would still say that from 30 onwards, most women try to dress younger than they are.
And do you think there's anything wrong with that?
Nothing at all. It's a question of wearing what suits you. And that could be anything from current trends to classics. I mean, OK, there are a very few things which can look a bit ridiculous on an older woman, like, let's see, very short shorts. But not many.
I think very short shorts look ridiculous at any age. Well, on anyone over 15 or so.
Adrian, what about men? Do you think they also try to look younger than they age?
Well, interestingly, in the research Lisa mentioned, only 12% of the men who were questioned said that they had ever thought about dressing to look younger. But actually, I think a lot of them weren't telling the truth. Look at all those middle-aged men you see wearing jeans which are too tight and t-shirts with slogans. I think they look terrible, as if they're trying to pretend they're still in their 20s.
Sorry, but I don't agree. I think Mick Jagger looks great in tight jeans and t-shirts. They suit him.
True, but Mick Jagger is 1 in a million. Most men of his age can't carry it off. Personally, I do think that men should take their age into account when they're buying clothes.
Let's go back to the idea of dressing older than your age. Do you think that men do that too?
Yes, definitely, some do. Some men in their 20s look as if they were 20 years older by wearing blazers and chinos, or wearing a suit and tie to work, when nowadays most men don't dress like that.
Maybe they've just started work and they want their bosses to take them more seriously.
Well, perhaps.
I think we're running out of time. So, to sum up, Lisa, Adrian, what would your fashion rules be?
2.24.
So, to sum up, Lisa, Adrian, what would your fashion rules be? Lisa?
Wear whatever you think suits you and makes you feel good.
And Adrian?
Dress for the age you are, not for the age you wish you were.
Lisa, Adrian, thank you very much.
2.25. 1.
Have you ever had an interview for a job or a place on a course?
Yeah, I actually have been in several interviews for jobs only. I haven't had one for school yet.
What kind of questions did they ask you?
My last job interview, they asked me questions like, what is it like to be a part of a team? To me, they asked me what my favorite superhero was, which was interesting. They asked me, because right now I'm a server at a restaurant, so they're asking me like, how's customer service and how important is it to you and stuff like that.
Did you get the job?
Yes.
2.
Do you believe in ghosts or UFOs?
I do believe in ghosts. I believe in ghosts because I grew up in a house where there is a ghost. My mum has heard it, my dad has heard it, my brothers have heard it, and I heard it one night when I was at home on my own with the dogs. And I was sitting downstairs watching TV in the house on my own with the dogs, and I heard footsteps go from one end of the house to the other, along the corridor above. But no one's scared of the ghost. We just know there's a ghost in the house.
3.
Have you ever given anyone first aid?
Yes, when I was 16, I was at home with my 2 younger brothers, and they were playing upstairs. I heard a loud bang, and my little brother came downstairs crying, and he'd hit his head on the door handle, and there was quite a lot of blood, so I sat him on the sofa and got a wet, cold flannel and put it on his head, and told him to sit still for a few minutes while I rang my mum, who was working a night shift at the time. And then while I was waiting for her to come home, I just checked his head, made sure that it wasn't bleeding too much. And yeah, it was fine. My mum came home, took him to the hospital, so that's fine.
4.
Are you good friends with anyone who is a lot older or younger than you?
I have a really good friend who's a lot older than me. In fact, I just went to her 60th birthday party in London. I won't say how old I am, but that's a lot older than me.
How did you meet?
We met as a part of an amateur theatre group, and she was the funniest person in it, so we stayed friends.